Welcome to episode 20 of Two Cents Tuesday. It's been a while. What was supposed to have been a brief pause caused by my first travel overseas since COVID started turned into a much longer break than I had anticipated. One of my trips during the last month took me to Kigali, Rwanda, to participate in the Commonwealth People's Forum as part of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. That trip to Rwanda was an eye-opener for me. Less than 30 years ago, Rwanda was the scene of one of the most horrific genocides in recent history. In the space of 100 days, roughly 1 million Tutsis, moderate Hutus, and Twas were killed by what was then the ruling Hutu majority. Many of those who escaped death were horribly mutilated. The weapons of choice were guns and cutlasses. My hour-long visit to the Kigali Genocide Museum ranks as one of the most chilling experiences I have had. However, if you visit Rwanda today, you would never believe this was a country where so much bloodshed had taken place less than 3 decades ago. Kigali ranks as one of the cleanest cities I've ever visited, rivaling Singapore for cleanliness. In fact, I rate Kigali's cleanliness as even more impressive than Singapore's because Kigali is a very green city. I was hard-pressed to see any dried leaves on the grass that is everywhere in the city or on the streets themselves. Moreover, Kigali also ranks as one of the safest cities I've walked through. I walked the streets of the city during the day and at night, and at no point did I ever feel threatened. I never encountered groups of men walking menacingly or aggressively through the streets, no sign of disorderly or unruly citizens. I know St. Lucian, who lives and works in Rwanda, and he told me he has never worried about whether he has forgotten to lock his house when he goes out. What has transpired in Rwanda over the last 2 decades has been achieved with strong, visionary leadership by President Paul Kagame. Not all his practices have found favor with Western commentators and some human rights groups. However, everywhere I went, from the taxi drivers to the hotel workers to the shop owners, Rwandans told me with pride and without provocation or prompting how much they loved their president. While I intend to do a commentary or two on the importance of strong, inspired, visionary leadership in transforming countries, particularly resource-limited developing countries like ours, that is not my focus today. Today, I want to talk about our litter problem and what appears to be our reluctance, if not unwillingness, to keep our country clean. What is it about us that causes us to litter so easily? We do it everywhere, on the beach, out of minibuses, through the windows of our cars, on our streets, our sidewalks, at public events, on private outdoor limes. Nowhere is spared. Does it not bother us when we walk or drive through our country and see it littered with the plastic bottles, the empty containers, the polythene bags, the used cups, and all the other garbage that we throw around so irresponsibly? When we leave the beach or the riverline, after having enjoyed the natural beauty of our island, don't we feel guilty about the garbage that we are leaving behind? How would we feel if the next time we go to that beach or that river, we have to walk through and clear piles of rotting garbage and fly-infested plastic bags just to find a place to enjoy ourselves? Who would we blame? The government or the constituency council for not doing its job? Come on, people. We are better than this. I praise Massy when it took the decision to stop giving out free plastic bags and encourage shoppers to bring their own reusable bags. That was a very, very good move. It is a pity that there is still the option to buy plastic bags in the store. But we need to go one step further, and the government has to take this plastic litter problem on more seriously and with greater commitment. We need to see the passage in Parliament of the Returnable Containers Bill. This bill provides an incentive for recycling by putting a value on used containers. A draft bill has been in existence for several years, so passing this legislation will not require much effort. In fact, I remember back in 2013, then Prime Minister Kenny Anthony announced that his government would enact this legislation. I was part of that government. 9 years later, this is now long overdue. Government also needs to ban the importation of more single-use plastic material. I know some of the paper replacements and cardboard replacements that are currently available on the market are not measuring up. But this provides an opportunity for us. It is now possible to use banana fiber made from the stems of banana plants, which, by the way, are completely biodegradable, to produce commercial-grade molded food packaging products in conventional molding machines. These would be much more durable than the cardboard products we have now. I've said repeatedly that while there is very little future for the export of bananas from St. Lucia as a primary commodity to the United Kingdom, there is a very promising future for the creation of viable and valuable processed products from bananas. This is one of them. We simply need to think differently and creatively. Our education system is very important in changing the attitudes, behaviors, and practices of our citizens. We still view primary and secondary education almost exclusively as a means towards the end of passing exams. Our education system needs to help us to create better citizens, citizens who treat each other fairly and with respect, citizens who resolve conflicts amicably, citizens where the men view the women as their equals and not as their possessions, and in this case, citizens who respect their environment and understand the importance of keeping it clean. The St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority, every now and again, embarks on public education programs within the schools, but this must be institutionalized. We need to revive the teaching of civics in all our schools. Not the old type of civics that was taught before, but a new civics that helps our children to understand their roles and responsibilities in a modern society and to become better and more informed and engaged citizens in that society. However, the most important factor in this war on litter is you and me, the citizens of St. Lucia. We need to decide that we will keep our country clean, not for the tourists or our visitors, but for ourselves. We must take pride in our communities, our environment, and our country. We must each feel a sense of shame or guilt every time we inadvertently, absent-mindedly, or deliberately litter. Presently, St. Lucia feels like a country where anything goes. Everyone has rights, but many do not want to accept that they also have responsibilities. This is painfully and embarrassingly obvious in our approach to the cleanliness of our country. In the current scheme of things, this may feel and sound like a small thing. Some may say that we have bigger problems than litter to deal with. I disagree. How we treat our surroundings and our approach to the cleanliness of our country are reflective of our mindset. If we do not get this right, I do not see how we will get the other so-called bigger things right. From where I stand, our collective mindset does not appear consistent with a people united in their resolve to elevate their country to being the best that it can be. What's our tourism tagline again? Let her inspire you? I'm sorry, but I find very little that is inspirational about our attitude right now. Our country remains breathtakingly beautiful, but we are soiling that beauty with the things that we do. We can do better. Let's do better. Thank you for viewing another episode of 2 Cents Tuesday. Goodbye.